Okay, I finally saw Cruella on Disney Plus for free. Well, they released it on Disney Plus for free instead of the dumbass Premiere Access. So, before I go through this film, I gotta talk about what I thought about the other 101 Dalmatian movies, starting with the two animated ones and one of the two live action ones. Starting with the animated classic, it is a classic. The second one, on the direct-to-video film, to Patches London Adventure, that's a great one too. It's a little bit better. I personally prefer those two live action ones more than those two other films. Owns the one from John Hughes, written by John Hughes from 1996. I love that one. More. Well, and plus Cruella Deville kicks ass as Cruella Deville. Well, Glenn Close's kicks ass as Cruella Deville, and when the second 102 Dalmatians for the director of a Goofy movie and Enchanted. Well, I like that one the best. I think that one's the best live action 101 Dalmatians movie. Wait for so really love those two. So really enjoy all of them. Now we get Cruella this year, or part of the. This is more basically a remake. Well, no, actually a remake prequel to the original live action 101 Dalmatians movies. So what do I think? I say this was really great of a movie. But I personally put it somewhere in. I personally say it is directly in the middle of the 101 Dalmatian movies. Always because I prefer the other two live action films a little more because I think Glenn Close is actually the better Cruella Deville, honestly. But honestly, for what we got here, I really think I think for the most part this movie was great. I'd probably say this is it's slightly better than the Aladdin remake. Well, given though I love that movie myself, but when for the most part I enjoyed, I loved it. But we'll get to some of the dumb stuff that some of the bad stuff in this. But the story is about a little girl named Estella, and basically she's born from her mother, and then on her and her mother go to a party. Wait, and then her mother gets killed by the Baroness, played by what do you call it? What was her name? Oh yeah, Emma Thompson from Treasure Planet and the live action Beauty and the Beast movie. And um, so after the death of her mother, she comes across Horace and Jasper, and then they grow up together, or they're like thieves and thugs. They do heists and stuff. So, while that's going on, Estella gets a job with the Baroness, and then she creates a lot of designs for her. And then one day she finds out that she's the killer of her mother, and then when what do you call it? She finds out that she's the killer of her mother because she had like a dog whistle because the Dalmatians that she has was just pushed her off the cliff. Of basically something like the Lion King did, honestly, but they don't do it like all the way. Like they don't reveal it until like the big climax. They reveal it like in the first half of the movie. Then after that, she vows revenge against her and creates her own what do you call her own outfits, and then calls herself Cruella. Well, not Deville yet. um, then after then while that's going on, when the Baroness finds out who she is until like over halfway or near last third of the picture, and then we get when she tries to kill her, and then we get when a big twist at the end. Well, at the last third of the film, from a butler played by the bad guy from Shazam, Mark Strong, which I think that was pretty cool that he was in this movie. And of course it's a battle between Cruella Deville and of course or it's the Baroness, or it's to see on to like or what happened. Well, basically what happens throughout the picture. It's a battle between her and the Baroness. The big, what the one thing I give credit about this film, honestly, is Emma Stone as as Cruella Deville, and she is fantastic. But before I get to that stuff, I gotta talk about the problems first. Well, it's because there's a few nitpicks. One is that they sort of shoehorn. Actually, they pretty much shoehorned on Anita and Roger in this movie, or which I understand that that this takes place for 101 Dalmatians. I know this is a 101 Dalmatians movie, but the one thing is that it's pointless to add them in. What's really the point? So that way they can just add her, like help her out with her problems or something. That's so dumb. And the other thing, that kind of bothers me about this film. I mean, sure. Actually, I meant to say, I do understand on that. What do you call it? I totally understand on that. That Cruella has her problems or something. But do you really need to shoehorn on these two characters? You could have just saved them for another movie. They just seem rather pointless to me, honestly. The other thing that kind of bugs me is that, you know how that Cruella has her own dog, and Horace and Jasper have their own dog, and once in a while there'll be CG. I mean, there's the Baroness's 3 Dalmatian dogs, and they're CG, and they're completely CG throughout the entire film, which honestly I think is completely pointless to do so. Even if they are very well animated, they do look good. But is it really necessary to CG them? I mean, I know that not everything's all CG, and I totally get that, but they do look good. The CG, it does look good. And the visuals in this film, I'll get to that in a minute, actually. And the other problem I have is the twist. Well, I definitely didn't see that coming. I didn't necessarily see it that coming. But it can definitely be predictable. But they do show a good backstory. What happened in the middle of the pit at the last third of the film. So it's technically still a problem, but I don't mind it. I actually do like how they explain what happened with Cruella de Vil's past. So, what do you call? But honestly, the reason why it's a problem because I think everyone can find it out for themselves and say like, "Wow, that is completely predictable." I didn't think it was quite as predictable, but it still kind of was. But it was still interesting, though. An interesting twist. So, that's all my bad stuff. Let's get to the good stuff, because honestly, there's a lot. All the actors who got to play the parts even if, what do you call it? Even if Anita and Roger were very pointless in the film, and they felt, shoehorns about the time, even if they, I totally understand that they're not in the film for that long either. They do a good job. But I also, I think the villain in this film was great. I really thought Emma Thompson did a good job as the villain. Better than what happened with Jafar, in the remake of Aladdin, which I'm not blaming the actor, though. That's why I like this one a little better than the Aladdin remake. The film is pretty funny, I have to admit, because, and it's actually because of Horace and Jasper, and the two actors who played those two guys are absolutely great. I laughed a lot at the or something. There was only like a couple or a few jokes that got a great laugh at. That definitely got a really friggin' good laugh out of me, but a lot of the time they're definitely very chuckle-worthy. The visuals are outstanding. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but they really look really freaking cool. And the CG, even though it is pointless to do it all throughout from the Dalmatian dogs, they do look good. And I think when they do the background owns or something, they do look really nice too. Particularly for the big mansion in the picture. But the best thing about the film, like I said before, is Cruella de Vil, played by Emma Stone. And I'm not gonna lie, I know that she's supposed to be a hideous character, or an all-around psycho. But she kind of is, and that's basically the point. I think they're trying to save up something until the next film. And Emma Stone is fantastic. Honestly, everyone was kind of worried that this film would be like the Joker, are all about. But honestly, this wasn't really like the Joker. It looked like it was going to be, but luckily it wasn't all the way through, and I was really happy that they didn't go through that route. Oh, and honestly, this Cruella de Vil is still basically the bad guy because, and I know that she is somewhat good in this, but she does seem like the all-around bad guy that I personally know from the original Disney film. At least that's better than what happened in the Maleficent movies. That was my big problem with those two movies. Even though I enjoyed them, I think the first film is a pretty good movie, and the second one is better. It's a lot better, like a very solid movie. Well, like very very solid. The sequel. Um, this one does the job better, and it doesn't go like the exact same route as that film does. But this one does do it a little bit, but not all the way through, and I'm really glad. Um, so that's it. I really think like the Cruella de Vil movie is really worth watching. And I definitely say it is a great movie, and I see why people really enjoy it. It's definitely one of the better Disney remakes, and like I said, it's slightly better than the Aladdin remake, right? Because the villain was better, because that was the one thing that, because in the first, in the Aladdin remake, like my big problem with that one is that it was friggin' Jafar. They just feel he just feels like a watered down version of his character. But luckily, everything else in this, for this film, it does the job better. And I guess technically, Aladdin, the remake of Aladdin is a little funnier, but because I got a lot of good laughs out of that one. Because a lot of the good jokes in that film as well. But this one was pretty funny too. So, if you have seen the movie, what did you think? Comment below. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe. And I am the Bostonian Critic, and I will see you later. Take care.